Hey, good evening, everyone. It's time for another random select. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I really kind of wanted to take time to really talk about something that really was impactful and still is impactful to this day in my life. Just something that I feel is can be very challenging, but it can be very rewarding and really helps to be able to really move on with your lives, but also really receive your healing, within, this particular area, but really to be healed and set free from something that really can weigh heavy on your shoulders for however long that could be. I want to talk about forgiveness. Oh, yeah, forgiveness, that long F word, forgiveness. You know, if you ask me, I think forgiveness can be one of the hardest things to really do. To really do from the heart and to really mean it. It can be a challenge. I mean, I'm sure each of us, I'm sure each of y'all out there watching, something has happened to you, something's been done to you by someone that you either haven't forgiven to this day or you have forgiven that person and it just took a long time for you to. I think we've all experienced something like that. I can understand, that pain. It hurts. People that you trusted for so long betrayed you, or those in relationships, get cheated on, or just all sorts of bad things. Where trust is betrayed, just heartbreaking, so much. And I know that it can be very hard to forgive those people. It can be very hard to forgive those people. I want to share my forgiveness testimony as a believer, as a Christian. Um, More and more, I've had to really learn, reading the Bible, just how much God's word really emphasizes on forgiveness. The Lord expects me to forgive because he has forgiven me. I want to share my forgiveness testimony. And I hope that whoever sees this really blesses them and really encourages them. So, I used to be I used to take orchestra class. I took orchestra class from elementary school starting second grade all the way to senior year in high school. I was in orchestra class. Loved it. Enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. Um, and I remember when I transitioned to middle school, on an orchestra class in middle school. Now, mind you, I was very immature. I really was not on a strong walk with the Lord. I had been baptized, but growing up really did what was expected of me by my parents. but that's all. Now, in orchestra class in middle school, there's this woman. I won't say her name. I'll just call her Lady A. Lady A. There's this woman named Lady A. She played the viola. I played violin. I was okay, but there were many, many better than me. She was really, 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 really good. Really good. Now, I used to make fun of her all the time. I was a straight up douche to Lady A. I was racist towards her. She was Asian, Korean. She was Korean, but I would always call her Chinese or some other sort of name that was offensive or racist. But I was just flat out mean to her. I was jealous of her. She was one of the really good um, musicians in the class, way above my level. But it was just something about her that I had to pick on her. That just seeing her gave me enough ammo to just always fire shots, verbal shots at her. I did that for many, many years. She was a grade ahead of me, but this even went on even through high school. And like I said, each time, same orchestra class. Things weren't different as time passed. And of course, she graduated before me, didn't see her again for so many years. Until 2011. Yeah, 2011. Went to a Korean church. Visited, I should say. And this was at this time, I had rededicated my life to Christ. And I was a former alcoholic, no longer. Got clean back in '08 and have been clean since '08. So just had to throw that in there. That's a key piece of the story. Anyway, continuing on, I visited a Korean church Sunday service. Um, it was cool. It was great. And then after service was over, I was going to leave the sanctuary, and I looked up at the balcony, and there was Lady A. Now, mind you, before that time, I had not seen her since my junior year, her senior year in high school. She graduated in '01. I graduated in '02. Now, the moment that I saw her up in the balcony while I was down in the sanctuary, the Lord really convicted me right there on the spot. And everything that I could think of that I ever said to her just popped into my mind. It all came back. It all came back. I knew right then and there I needed to make right, to make amends with Lady A. I waited for her to come down from the balcony, and she was with her husband as well. She was with her husband, and I approached her. Of course, she remembered me, and I told her, for everything that I have said to you and have done to you, I'm truly sorry. And I want to assure you that I am not the same person that I was all those years. Those were my words that I told Lady A. Right there in front of her, right there in front of her husband. And she was thankful. She really appreciated that. And, her husband was meeting me for the first time. So, that was really cool. But it wouldn't surprise me if at that moment she didn't believe a word that I said. She would have had a right to feel that way. She would have had a right to feel that way. I mean, I said some nasty stuff to her for so many years. So many years. So if she didn't believe a word that I said, I wouldn't blame her. I wouldn't blame her. Now, as I got more acquainted with some of the folks there, I got invited to young adult get togethers. And one was even at their house. And that was cool. That was actually really cool. And just little by little, we were talking more. Her husband got to know me a lot more. And it was really good. Just little by little, things were turning around. And then I won't ever forget. There was a there's a Tuesday night young adult group that was hosted, and I remember as we were done for the evening and we were leaving, going to our cars. Pardon me. Uh, they needed some help getting some stuff into their car, so I went and helped out. It was just a couple of things. They brought a lot of stuff. Loaded everything into their car, and she was, very appreciative. And I won't ever forget. I won't ever forget her words. She told me, Jason, I'm so glad that things are now different between us. And I said, me too. She forgave me for everything. And I know that because she did something that I never would have thought in tons of years that she would do to me. She gave me a hug. She gave me a hug. Not one of those side hugs, not one of those pitter patter hugs, but a legit hug. It was at that moment that I realized she had forgiven me. I Once I got back to my car, I wept for at least a good 15, 20 minutes. I wept. one of the many, many times in my life where I cried so hard, that was outside of a funeral, where I cried so hard. Somebody that I had caused so much harm to for so many years had forgiven me. One moment. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying to keep it together. But it hits me every time that I share this. But the worst of enemies ended up becoming such great friends. Husband gained a lot of respect from me. Um, they both have two handsome boys. I've gotten a chance to play with their children, and just it's just so awesome that all the times after that have just been good times, hugs, sharing, and it's been such a blessing. And I just thank God for that He's touched her heart to be able to forgive me for all the harm that I've caused. And I thank God for what He's done in my life, my heart, over the years. And I thank God for this experience, because this showed me what true forgiveness would look like here. I mean, after all, Jesus' sacrifice on the cross for our sins, I mean, in a way, that's Him forgiving us by going as far as to dying for us. After all, He asked God to forgive us. We not know what we're doing. All those that spat on Him, called Him names, cursed Him. In the midst of all that I did to her, she ended up forgiving me. And I tell you, that forgiveness, whew, it's powerful. Powerful. It is not to be underestimated. True forgiveness. Now, if I fully believe, if you say you've forgiven somebody, but then every now and then you keep bringing it up, it's hard for me to believe that you've truly forgiven that person if you keep bringing it up. I don't think you're over it. I don't think you're over it. Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. But forgiveness is so important. And I say this to all those out there that are experiencing, dealing with hurt, broken heart. I mean, I know I've dealt with it a lot. I still do. Especially as number of times as I've been, rejected, betrayed, had good friendships, and lost lost those friendships due to like dumb misunderstandings, things like that. But I thank God for teaching me and showing me how important it is to forgive those others, even if they never ever ask for forgiveness, even if they never ever say I'm sorry. forgive them. It's not easy, and I don't believe you're doing it so much for them, but for you. Because if it's one thing that can be really, really difficult, is carrying the weight of that hurt for so long and just never getting healed from it, being able to forgive the person that hurt you. And like I said, every situation is different. People are different. It takes time. Some, could maybe do it in a short amount of time. Others may take years. And like I said, I understand that hurt. But we have to still be able to move forward with our lives. And a big thing I believe is we cannot hold the mistakes of others against the people that come into our lives that really want to be in our lives. Especially those, the fact that those folks had nothing to do with the person that hurt you. We can't hold mistakes of others against the people that come into our lives because it's not their fault. It's not their fault. But it helps us to be able to move forward when we can forgive those that have hurt us. But like I said, it's a challenge. It's not easy. I would be lying to your face right now if I were to say, "Oh, what I went through was easy. Oh, forgiveness is easy." No, no, it's not. No, it is not. I'd be lying to your face if I told you forgiveness is easy. No, because we've all been hurt in some sort of way to the point where it's affected us. It's affected how we carry ourselves. It's affected how we move forward. It's affected how we go about our days, even sometimes in our associations with others. It affects us. That's why it's a battle, it's a struggle to get to the point where you can legitimately forgive that person and mean it and truly mean it to the point where you don't bring it up again and that person doesn't hold the power over you anymore. And I'm still a work in progress. There's still people that have once been a part of my life that I'm still going through and getting healing from and being able to fully forgive them. Especially, you know, people that I've liked, I've had a crush on, that have hurt me. I gotta forgive them because I don't want to be the negative burden and hold so much of that against the woman that comes into my life that actually wants to be with me because it wouldn't be fair to her. But I tell you, forgiveness is powerful. It's very powerful. It can really set you free and really, really do some major healing. And it can really, really help you move forward with your life and really get that heavy weight off. I tell you, it's a blessing. To those out there that are struggling with dealing with you know past hurt or a current hurt. Somebody's hurt you or something, or whether it's words, You know, I challenge you. Yeah, I understand you got to go through what you got to go through. It's okay to be upset, cry about it, but don't stay there for too long. Really work getting your heart healed to the point where you can forgive that person. Of course, they say the sooner the better, but let's be real. It takes time. It's a process. It's definitely not something I would say is overnight. But you gotta learn to forgive those people that have caused harm to us. Not for them, but for us. For you. I'm a strong believer in that, and I believe it works. I believe it works when you can get there. So I hope and pray to the Lord that more and more as I live my life, I don't want to have any sort of hatred towards anybody in my heart to the point where I can't forgive them. I hope I don't ever get to that point. But yeah, that's that's my forgiveness testimony. Anyway, what are y'all's thoughts on forgiveness? What do y'all think? Is there a story that y'all are going through where you're lacking forgiveness, or just something that you're dealing with that you would like to share, that you're having trouble being able to forgive that person? Or just let me know what your thoughts are overall. Like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off. Hope y'all have a blessed evening, and I will see y'all soon. Take care.